Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced from AlexMercedCoder.dev, and we're going to continue on. So we last left off, I was a little concerned that I'm not seeing like the list of cookies, the cookie that we get created here. Now I do know that the cookie is being sent back because I can see in the network request. So I see here's the login request, and you can see like here's the headers, and you can see on the response there's the token cookie being sent back. And then if I click here on cookies, I can see that here like the cookie was sent back. So we did receive the cookie. So what I've read up is like maybe that it just doesn't show up just because it's an HTTP only cookie, and generally like the front end they shouldn't be able to play with HTTP only cookies. So we're gonna have to take it on faith so far that this is there. So we'll see what happens when it should work. Like basically when we need it, will it work? We'll find out as we go along. Okay, so now moving forward, basically on this dashboard page, should have a component. So let's go back. Let's close all these windows that I've accumulated. And we need a dashboard component, so we're going to go create new file, dashboard.js. Okay, export default function dashboard. Okay. And essentially what this is going to have is return a div. We're going to have an h1, your dashboard, and then we're going to have an outlet. Okay, so I got to import the outlet. Cool, fine and good. Okay, so, and then I'm also going to want an index component, new file, index.js. This is going to be the thing that lists all the notes. So export default function index. And in this case, what we're going to be doing is we need to import use loader data. Okay, because we're going to be having a loader that loads the list of things here. So actually, let's not do that yet because we need to get those things in place. But let's first like go to our router and let's import the dashboard component. And just say, hey, when you get the dashboard, it should show the dashboard component. Okay, cool. There's our dashboard component. And now when I do that, I should be able to go back to the page and see it says your dashboard. Good, and look there, it's showing the index page. Okay, so that's what it's doing right now, showing this. So first what I want to do is I want to create a loader that's going to go get all the data, all the notes for that user. So in this case, we don't have to worry about any headers or anything. Like we should just be able to go get the data because that HTTP cookie should automatically be sent. Okay, you don't have to do anything to send that cookie back. That's the beauty of cookies. It just is automatic. So I still need to import the URL here in loaders, and we'll say const index loader equals, and I should probably export that. Async function, and do I want anything from here? I don't need any params. I don't need the form, so that should be good. And really the only thing that needs to happen here is that I should just have to do a fetch. So const notes, actually first would be like response equals fetch, await fetch, URL plus, now let me remember what is a note, slash, yes, slash note. URL slash note. Okay, and that's just a get request, and then we do const notes equals await response.json, and then we just return notes. And that is it. That should do what I need to do. So now I can go back to my router, and I'm going to attach that to the index route as a loader, so I make sure that data is available to that route. Um, index loader. Let's see that it imported for me. Yep, see that it imported it for me. Nice. Okay. And that's all well and good. Now I can go back to the defining the index thing here. And I can go pull in those notes. So const notes equals use loader data. Then I'm going to console log them just to make sure that we got what we got. Okay, and then what we're going to do is return a div, and then we're going to do a map notes.map. Okay, and then it's going to be for each note we want to return. We'll say a div with an h1 that has the note.title. Okay, we'll start with that. Okay, and that's exported. So now I can go over here to router and then replace this with the index component. Okay, let's just make sure that got imported. Nope. Import index. There we go. And let's see how it looks. Notes that map is not a function. Okay, so that tells me that notes is undefined. Okay. Let me take a look at my console log. Did I get a console log? Error, not logged in. Okay, so it is not passing the cookie. Okay. That was my fear. Okay, so let's try this again. I'm going to log in. Test 3. Test 3. Yep, and then again we see here we got the error not logged in. Okay, so let me see if I can do something. I'll pause this for a moment and just do some investigation. Okay, so here's a potential solution. So basically it has to do with just like the word localhost. So what it wants us to do is actually just type in one, instead of using localhost, use the actual IP address. Because technically localhost really is just pointing to the IP address of 127.70. So let's try that out. So I'm going to do 127.0.01 colon 3000 because that's basically localhost 3000. Okay, so if we try this, let's see if it works. Okay, so let's log in. Test 3. Test 3. Okay, let's see, do we get the same error? Nope, we're still getting the same error. Now let me just see, am I still getting the cookie though? If I go to network, and I see note, I see login. Okay, we are getting the cookie. The cookie is coming in. So let's continue to investigate. Okay, so another potential solution I found is that it might be because the cookies are by default set to secure. So basically, again, when you're working on HTTP localhost, that is insecure, so it's just not registering the cookie name. So what I'm going to do is in my backend code where we set the cookie, what I'm doing is that I'm changing the secure property to check what the host name is. If the host name is localhost, then it's going to send in insecure cookie. If it is not, then it'll be true. So we'll try that out. Okay, so I'm going to head back over here and then go back to my React app. I'm going to go back to localhost 3000, localhost 3000. So let's try that out. Log in. Test 3. Test 3. Log in. Okay, still not getting anything. But let's just see here. Token. Well, it is insecure. But it still doesn't. But let's see here. If I go to application, the cookie still doesn't show up. Now, what if I try to go to like https / well, that's not going to work because it's not I have no local SSL certificate. Okay, let's try this again. So another thing they suggested is that if it's problem by going to Chrome/flags. So let's try that out. Chrome flags. Okay, and let's see here what it says. It says same site by default cookies. Available temporarily unexpired flags. see here. Let's look up cookie. Says same site by default cookies. Same site. Cookies. Cookie features. I do just cookie. Images when enabled, Chrome apply first parties. Control with partition cookie attribute is enabled. Wow, those don't look like any of these per particular enabled removing same. Nope. Okay, so I'll pause. Okay, so what I'm gonna try is try a different browser because it really seems like a Chrome issue more than anything else from basically everything that I'm reading. So let's go over here and see here I have Firefox. Let's try Firefox. Let's let Firefox open up. Localhost 3000. Okay, let's click on login. Test 3. Test 3. Login. Okay. I'm still getting the same issue, so let's take a look under network. Oh. Test 3. Test 3. Okay, so there's the login request. And to strict origin, response headers, set cookie. So there's the set cookie header. Okay, cookies. Yeah, detects the cookie. Okay. But now if I go to application and then we take a look at, do you see a list of cookies here? No. Probably it's over here. Here we go, cookies. And there's no cookies for the selected host. Okay, so here's another potential solution. So there's a possibility that just having a wide open CORS policy might be the problem, that the browser might be saying, oh, wait, you're an insecure backend, so we're not going to let you set a cookie. So essentially they're saying, like, specify the origin. So I'm just literally going to copy this. And we head over to where we set up our CORS middleware. So that's going to be in our server.js. CORS middleware is right here. Pass it this object. And say http//localhost 3000 as a source, because that's where the requests are coming from. Okay, so let's see if that makes a difference. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. Let's try this again. Test 3. Oh, nope, that did not look like it succeeded. I mean, the login succeeded, and I got the token, but it's still not necessarily being saved. Typically, this will work deployed. Like, that's basically, from what I'm reading, is like, it's like the issue is with localhost, so we'll just keep trying this out, trying different solutions. Ah, okay, I think I found the answer. Okay, so it has to do with the fetch function and the way the fetch function works. Apparently, there's a credentials property, and if that's not set, it won't save the cookies. So you see here, it says won't set any cookies sent back in a cross-origin response. Okay, so that means I need to make sure we include that. Okay, so let's see here what it says about like credentials. Okay, credentials controls what browsers do with credentials. Cookies, authentication entries must be one of the following strings. Omit tells the browser to exclude credentials from the request. Tells browsers to include credentials with a request to the same origin URLs or use any credentials. Tells browsers to include credentials in both same and cross-origin requests and always use any credentials sent back in responses. I think that's kind of what we want. So let's go back and improve our login fetch. That's the only one that really grabs the cookie. So let's go back to our, that's going to be on our front end action. So in our front end login action, in that fetch, we need to add credentials, and that needs to be include. So let's try that out. Let's see if that makes a difference. Okay, so let's go back to the main page. Let's log in. Okay, let's do test 3. Test 3. Okay, that still didn't quite work. Let's see if the cookie was saved. Okay, so here we got, okay, here this time the cookie, response cookies. So there's the cookie that we sent back. Okay, now let's go back to our application and see that it gets saved. The cookie was saved. Okay, good. Okay, so that means something else is going wrong now. So that's good. So that is going to be the difference. You have to make sure you include credential with fetch. So good thing that we figured that out. Okay, so let's see here. Let's figure out what happened with note though. Response, not logged in. But did it not set the cookie? Include request. Assuming we're probably gonna have to include credentials there too. So that way includes. So we're probably gonna have to add that as there. So I'm just gonna copy that from there. And then that's gonna be in a loader. So here in the fetch, just have to add credentials include. And let's try that again. Login. Test 3. Test 3. Huzzah! Okay, that's it. So we just have to include that credentials property on all fetch. So the issue was the fetch function that it requires you to set that credentials property to make sure that you know, hey, is it okay to use this cross-site cookie? Okay. Ha! Okay, so that's now we know that we can proceed forward. Okay, so now that we have that, the rest becomes a bit easier. So now we're including that data and it's rendering it. Great. Now we want to create a cookie. So let me just remember how we set up the routes for that because it's been a while. So create is going to be a sub route of dashboard. Okay. And that's going to have a form. So new file. Call it create.js. And I'll just copy this form here just to save time, even though it's different. Okay. And basically the form is going to be called create. And the form is going to submit to /dashboard/create. And instead it's going to be text for title. And then technically it's just another text input for message. Okay, so there's the form. Okay, that's it. Okay, so now we can go attach that to that route. So route here we're going to create. And that should have automatically been imported. Good. Now we just need to create an action to go with that for when you submit the form. Okay, so we need to create a create action. So export const create action equals, and again we want to include the request so we can go grab the form. And in this case what I'm going to do is just borrow what we got from here from the form. It's essentially the same idea. Actually, I should probably just copy this whole thing from the login, paste that in there, and just go from the bottom and edit it. So we want the form data, that's good, but this needs to be async for that to work. So make sure that's async. But now it's really going to be title and message. So first we'll change this to title. And this to message. Okay, and then this should be note, because essentially this represents a note. Okay, and then we're gonna need it. Well, we have credentials include there, so that's perfect. Okay, and then except this time it's referring, it's gonna be submitting to note as a post request, and we'll just do failed create. I should redirect back to the slash dashboard, and if it's successful, it should still send you back to slash dashboard. Okay, perfect. Okay, then we're gonna attach that to the router. So action equals create action, and that should have been automatically imported. Yep, there it is. Good. And then we just need a link to create. So I'm going to head back to dashboard, and let's bring in link, and just say create a button, a link that links to slash dashboard slash create that has a button that says create note. Okay. So there we see create note. So if I click on it, the form should pop up. Yep, there's the form. And then I'll say, okay, cheese, and then this when I click on this, it should submit the note. And good. Now we're starting to see the note list. Okay, we're starting to see those notes list. Perfect. Only thing I want to change is that that form button should say on the create board, that should say create note. There we go. Okay, so we can now create notes. Yay. Okay, and then now, so basically everything else kind of works the same going forward. You just have to make sure that credentials include is there on all these requests, so that way that cookie is included. So I'll see you guys for the rest on the next video. I'll see you guys soon.